welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. You can begin with the basics and then move on to advanced concepts. And you can also start with a speed trap and build an application from scratch, which should pique your curiosity with a desire to learn more. Okay, worst case testing. What's that? That's where you put extreme values in your program to see if it will fail. You try to break your code. We can do that with our numeric entries, and this video will show you how. For string values, like the track name and driver name, it's not quite so easy, at least at this time. We haven't learned enough. Sure, we can check for a blank entry on the name, and we did. What about tracks or drivers that don't exist? What about duplicate drivers? Users will attempt to do that to our program, not because they are mean, but rather they just don't know any better, or your instructions might not be clear enough. Remember, we know our program intimately. We've been into it. Our users don't. There are many ways to bulletproof our applications. You can hard code the driver's names into an if statement. But what happens next year when new drivers are hired and older drivers retire? The program will have to change. That could be problematic. Other ways to bulletproof our applications require methods or arrays or databases, all of which we haven't learned yet. And we will learn. That's all coming. Learning programming is like learning the guitar. It is for the patient. This video will talk about that. But primarily, this video will look at worst case when it comes to numeric input. But we will introduce the combo box as a partial solution to those string areas. Take a look. Okay, welcome to worst case testing, if you want to call it that. What do I mean by that? Worst case is when you try to take an application and break it. And so you want to try the most obvious things that are going to happen. In other words, something you know is going to break. If it doesn't, then something lesser won't break it either. And in this case, we're looking at this a little advanced right now because we haven't learned everything about C# we'd like to learn. We haven't done methods. We haven't done much in string processing, things of that nature. We haven't done any database. Haven't done arrays. We'll do all that down the road. But we can still do some pretty decent worst case testing and fix our applications so they work better in the state we're at right now. Let's take a look at our Formula One application right now, our Bahrain, or not Bahrain, but basically this guy right here. Let's go ahead and start him and see what he's going to look like. If we go into data processing right now, we can actually put in anything, garbage, into this thing right here, and it's going to take it. We can put in a track length of 99 miles. We can put in 99 in here too. That's kind of long for a track, I would think. And number of laps, we can put in 9,000 laps and do a save here, and it takes it all. We want to break that. We don't want that to happen. We got to think logically about how we're going to actually work our program. And starting with the track name, we need a way to basically ensure that the user puts in a legitimate name. We don't want blanks. We can test for blanks. That's no problem. We are doing that, as a matter of fact, in this application. But we're not checking for anything else. There's not much we can do at this time other than put in a combo box, a bunch of if statements to check names that are legit. Problem is, if we set the combo box, we're going to fill it full of race tracks around the world that exist today. But if they add one next year, we got to recompile our program. If we had sold this thing on the market to other people, we're going to have to update it that way. Another way to do it might be to put a file with legitimate race names out there we can read in to text. Then we don't have to change the file. We could send those updates to people and so on down the line. So a lot of thinking to do when we're going on. So we're going to treat the track name simply right now. I'll probably use a combo box to get that thing going so we can legitimize it. The track length and all that, we can kind of check on that with reasonable sizes. So let's go ahead and kill this. And let's look at our coding on this thing. What we've got here is we've got a text box right up here. We're going to replace this text box. We're going to bring up our toolbox right now. Let's go ahead and view our toolbox. Nope, not toolbar, toolbox. There it is. Okay, we'll bring it up here. And we're going to bring a combo box in place. So I'll bring that in and we'll put that here. We're going to actually give it a different name. If we look at the text box we've got here, we're calling it TXT track name. That's fine. We're going to take the combo box and make that CMB track name. It'll be almost the same as we had before. We're going to make it the same size as the Bahrain piece right here, as this little text box right here. So I'm going to shorten this guy, and I'm going to format and make same size width, and we're going to go there. As far as our, let's just check our font here and make sure it's good too. Did it accept the properties we've got sitting up here that came from 10 bold is true? Yeah, it looks like it did. And we're going to take this text box and we're going to, well, actually we can leave it right here and lay this thing right on top of it, because we're not going to use the text box anymore, but we'll leave it there. I could blow it away. We'll just leave it there and no one will see it when we get to there. So we're going to go like, in fact, let's go do this. Let's go ahead and take this and format align tops. Now it's on top of one and the other, so we won't be able to see it. All we're going to see is the drop, is the combo box here, and we won't use it in code. The other guys right here we're going to leave go as we are. Now we need to go to our code. So I'm going to run to our save code right here and see what we've got here. Let's get rid of our toolbox so we can open this thing up a little bit and see what we got. There's our toolbox right here. For now, what I'm going to do, this is all the good stuff that's going to happen when our application gets the right data. And right now it's checking a few things, but not everything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this off to a text box. Happen to have a text box off on the side here, and I'm going to paste it in, and you can see that in a moment and look at that. And here you go. There's what I did. I put it in a text box so I can bring it back later. I'm going to save this real quickly. I'm going to save it. Save as. We'll go save track. Let's call this save track length and lapse as a. That's fine. I don't care. And I'm going to put it into. Worst case testing is right where I've got it. So I'm going to leave it right here so I can find it later. Bang. We'll just lay it there, and then I'll move it off the side. I'll keep it open. Now, since I've got that copied, I'm going to delete it. But getting rid of that, we now have our, I'll just put a comment. This is where the good stuff goes. I'll just make myself a comment to that thing. Now I've got the verification arrow building here, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit. I'm going to look at the track name. I'm going to say combo box. Bing, 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 CMB, because I named it that. So we're not going to deal with that track name anymore. And then I'm going to change this to string track name is equal to combo box.text. CMB. And that's, oops, boom, 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 CMB. And that will take care of allowing us to use the combo box. Now I got to go back to the combo box real quickly and actually put some names in there. So if we look at the items collection here, I can jump in here, open it up, and I can lay in, let's see, we got Miami, we've got Bahrain, we've got Monaco, we've got Spain, we've got Italy, we've got Canada, we've got Austria. We're going to think of better ways to name this kind of stuff later, because we get the United States, we got Miami, we got Las Vegas, we got San Antonio, I think. Things like that. But this is enough for testing, though. We've got these things. These are the legitimate tracks we're going to allow. So we'll just click that in there. And now when we run this thing, it's going to blow up because we've got some stuff missing on the good guy stuff. But we can still run it and see how this thing works. If I jump to data entry, we now have this, and I can actually drop something down, and Monaco will pop in there. So that's a good way to handle that. So we can only type in certain stuff. Let's kill this. Go back to our code. So that's good. So that kind of solves the problem. We're still looking if it's blank, nulls. We certainly are going to cause an error there, and we're going to do the error piece. But if it's legit, it has to be one of those combo box drop-ins. We're forcing the user to actually use the combo box to actually do this. Now let's start looking at the rest of the stuff. We've got, we're bringing in the K length, and we're bringing in the M length, and we're bringing in the number of laps, it appears. So we've got that thing there. And if that's good, we thought we were good here, but we're not really good right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say something else. We're going to look at if the track length and is not within a certain range, we're going to want to cause an error. So I'm going to go right in here and I'm going to say if DBL track length M is greater than 0 and DBL track length M is less than 20, that's pretty safe right there. We're probably going to be okay with the number of laps, or with the track length. 20 miles would be more than enough that we're going to need. So we'll build ourselves a little brace here, and we'll do an else in this place. So we're going to have this as well. Else, and it's looking good. Now the good stuff's going to go here. And the bad stuff's going to go here. I didn't get enough out of this. There we go. And what's going to happen? Well, we're going to say that we're basically going to say that the invalid M length, or yeah, we're doing M. We are doing M. We can say the same thing right here, except we can modify it. Invalid M length, not within range. And basically say it's not within the range of 0 to 20 miles. And so that's good there. We now are going to look at the K length. So we'll say if DBL track length K is greater than 0 and track length K is less than 20, we like that. Else this is where the good stuff's going to go, and this is where the bad stuff's going to go. And this will be an invalid K length. We have that down here someplace. Here's our invalid K length. We'll bring that up, the message box pieces, and we'll lay that in here. And we'll also say not within range. So that takes care of looking at the track length and the miles. Now we can look at the number of laps. How many laps are usually in a race? That's what we got to think about, and put a legitimate number in there, because we want the user to be able to put in the number that it is, but it shouldn't be ridiculous, like 99,000 or something of that nature. So we can actually go in here and in here test that. So we're going to say if int number of laps is greater than 0 and int number of laps less than, how many should we make it? Typically the laps are 50, 60, 70. We could probably go with 200 here and know that it's fairly safe. That's probably an extreme. We might want to change that later to something smaller, but 200 will give us a 200 lap race. 200 times 4 miles is going to be 800 miles. That's a lot. So actually, we could probably even less. Let's make it 100. We're not going to go over this. And then put in our braces. That's the good stuff. bad stuff is else. And we can say here, let's go ahead and parse this out a little bit. Invalid number of laps. And we can say this one is Control C, pop it up into here. And invalid laps, not within range. We could specify the range. We could be more exclusive in that if we wanted to, and all that. That pretty much puts into place all of our testing so that we can't put anything in there. So now let's go ahead and put our good stuff back in here. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to this guy right here and grab that data that we pull out later and lay it right in here. Let's go right in after this guy. And there it is. This is where the good stuff goes, or save the track length, lapse the string, and so on down the line. And that kind of puts it in place. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's run the application now that we've got this testing in place. Okay, we're going to go to data entry. We're going to do nothing in the track name. We'll put in 99,000 for our track length, 99,000 whatever for our miles. We'll put a number of laps, 99,000, do a save here, and we get an error. Enter our track name. Oh, we didn't do that. Okay, so we're going to allow this. So can we put in anything? We actually still can't put garbage in here. So we can't actually do that. So if we look at the save on here now, it's happy with that. It likes that because we have something in here. But because we're using a combo box, we're allowing the user to basically drop down and put in something that we know is going to be legit. At least it lessens the ability. Down the road, we're going to figure out a way of actually stopping garbage from going in there and looking at legitimate stuff. If statements might help. You know, if it's not equal to Monaco and not equal to Spain and not equal to this, then it's an error, and we have to put something in there. So we're not fully fixing this piece, but we've got it down to the point where the users really got to be trying pretty hard to make a mess here. Now let's look at the miles. We've got Monaco in there now, so we can go ahead and do a save. And it likes our length here, but it doesn't like the M length. Invalid M length. So we're going to put in, let's put in 5 here. And do a save. And it doesn't like the K length. Okay, not within range. Okay, let's fix the K length here. It puts us in our focus there. We'll make that 4. Yeah, 4 is fine. Save again. Doesn't like number of laps, not within the range. So it's testing all this kind of stuff, clearing it out for us, allowing us to put in 53. Now we can do a save, and it's in place. Cool. Now, we've got the same problems here in the driver information. If we key in nothing, it may accept it. Or if we key in a garbage driver or a duplicate driver, that may accept it too. We haven't got the learning yet of how to handle this particular thing. So if you knew a bunch of drivers, you could actually put if statements in and check for those. You could use a combo box here too as well if you like to make it work and put in all the legitimate drivers so the person has to pull it from there. That's one way of doing it. So we'd handle this thing the same way as we're doing the Monaco thing if we needed to make it work. I'm not going to do anything right now. We'll just leave it and put in legitimate stuff. Tweety bird. And we'll check our hours. We're going to go with a 45-hour race. That's going to take us 45 hours, 34 minutes, and 59 seconds. Why do we want to do that? Hit an add here, and we get an error. Finish time in hours must be 0, 1, or 2. Okay, so we've got that checked already. We are doing a good job of this. The hours can't be more than 0, 1, or 2. So we'll put in. Although we might want to think about that when a race has a red flag, and they close the race down, it could take quite some time to get up there. Usually they're about an hour and a half. But we'll put in a 1 here. So that's good. Now we're going to save all this, and we'll do our add here. And it put in Tweety Bird and got that piece in there. Nice. 59 seconds worked great. Now we're going to try Elmer Fudd. And we're going to put in 1 hour, 22 minutes, and we're going to put in 64 seconds here this time. And hit do an add. And it comes back and finish time. Seconds must be 0 through 59.999. Okay, it makes sense. If we had something larger than 59, it's going to be a minute. So we do want to put in something legitimate there. So we're going to put in 59.56 seconds and add that. And that did take. It did take nicely. So basically, we've got all our pieces in place. We've done our checking here. I would probably want to use the drop-down box here. And then I probably want to use if statements in here to check that my driver is balanced and he's looking at a particular correct driver that's in place there. Again, though, you put the combo box in, you put the if statements in there. New drivers come on, new drivers go off, they get fired, they get hired, things like that happen. So you're going to have to change your program. So that's the thing I like to stay away from. It's better to have maybe a file that's going to have these people there. You also want to check for duplicates. If I put in Tweety Bird again, I can do that right now. And we'll do 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds, and do an add. And not good. We've got the driver in there twice. So even if you had them in combo boxes, it's still easy to make a duplication and put the wrong one in there. So we want to check for that. We want to check for duplicates somehow. How can we do that? Once we get into arrays, we can load this into an array and check for duplicates. Actually go through the process and see if they're actually there and follow that thing through. So we need some more learning. We'll be looking at methods next, and then following that we're going to look at arrays. And those are going to help us tremendously to do that. But until now, we're doing a pretty good job of cleaning this thing up and making it look good. It certainly is going to be fine. The combo box helps. The range checking of these minutes, seconds, and hours, and up in here helps. We still can. I think we're good with numbers, but strings may still be an issue for us, and we need more information how to program C# or any language to get that particular thing done. That's what we do for testing. Let's go ahead and save this guy. And he's out there. We'll put it in text 1 of 2, pop it in there. It's going to replace whatever's there. We're set to go. We can go ahead and go look at our race results and bring in that race data and see how that looks now. I think we put it in text 1 of 2 and bring it in, and there it is. It took our Monaco, it took 45 miles, took our Elmer Fudd, all those good guys, brought them in place, and we've got our stuff there. So this is working. This seems to be working great. Super. Okay, we'll learn all about methods and all about arrays in the near future. And at that time, I will create a new worst case testing video that will cover errors in string input. Meanwhile, let's learn more. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. And if you get a chance, please subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.